It's time for The Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker review, for the Gamecube. The Wind Waker was the first official Zelda game for the Gamecube, and during its first appearance at Space World 2001, it was probably the most controversial game of the year, but we'll look into that a little later. This game is set hundreds of years after the Hero of Time, and the basic story is this. Link lives on a peaceful little island with his sister, grandmother, and various other villagers. One day, Aryll, Link's sister, is kidnapped by a huge bird and taken from the island, and so Link leaves his home in search of her. Along the way, Link will acquire his own boat and a magical magical baton called the Wind Waker, which grants the power to control and manipulate the wind to whoever conducts with it. As I said before, this game was one of the most controversial games when it was first seen by fans on its trailer. Why? Well, just look at it. Instead of realistic graphics, they are cel-shaded graphics. The Wind Waker is the first Zelda game to have cel-shaded graphics, and people thought that Nintendo went out of their minds with it. They thought it would be a horrible game, but you know what? It's not. Personally, I love the style of the graphics for this game. They look beautiful. Everything is rich, vibrant, and colorful. If you haven't already noticed, instead of a huge landmass, the Wind Waker takes place on an ocean called the Great Sea. There are islands scattered throughout, which some of them have something to do with your main quest and others for your side quests. You are given a sea chart where it tells you where each island is. The Great Sea is split up into a 7x7 area, so there are 49 islands in all. Each sector is 7,000 by 7,000 feet, yards, or meters. It doesn't say, but depending on how fast you sail on your boat, it's either one of the three. The controls are once again great. It's almost just like all the other 3D Zelda games. Control with the analog stick, swing your sword with the B button, but this time, instead of the C stick, you set and use your items with either the X, Y, or Z buttons. Since sailing from island to island can take a long time, you can use your Wind Waker to warp you to one of 9 islands scattered throughout the Great Sea. But you have to learn the song first, and to do that, you have to do certain things to find it. But this song does come in handy a lot, and it's almost a necessity if you don't want to die of boredom from the monotonous sailing. Like I said before, a lot of the islands do not play a part in your main quest. Therefore, they are part of side quests. And since there are 49 islands, you will have a long and fun time completing each one. The boss fights were amazing as always, and because of the cel-shaded graphics, I thought they looked especially good. Don't get me wrong, realistic graphics like Twilight Princess looked great as well. I'm just saying that this style of graphics don't make the bosses, or any other part of the game, less enjoyable. The difficulty of the bosses was 50-50. Some were easy and some were hard. It was actually pretty nice having it this way, because in the later levels, the game would really test your skills. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker is a fantastic game. Just like the rest of the 3D Zelda games, the graphics, controls, gameplay, boss fights, and the length of the game, including the side quests, are all amazing. The only downside that I found was that sailing on your boat could get very dull and repetitious at times, but since you can learn songs to control the wind and warp you to certain islands, it makes up for it. This game is amazing, and I would definitely recommend it, or even say that it is a must-have for anyone who owns a Gamecube or Wii. Even if you are not a big fan of the Zelda franchise, I still believe you would have a lot of fun with the Wind Waker. This game gets a 4.5 out of 5 with the title of Epic.